Mathews. I'm the Interim Dean of the College of Agriculture at Hilo. I've been on faculty here for 21 years and I'm a graduate. I graduated in 1986 from Hilo before going on to graduate school at Louisiana State University and the University of Florida. I worked for USDA for a while before coming back to Hawaii in 1993. Our goals for the day is basically, this is a follow-up gathering to Chancellor Straney's August meeting where he pulled together a group of farmers and they identified several major issues affecting the future of agriculture in Hawaii. One of those was training the next generation and how do we facilitate the next generation of farmers. Another major concern was soil health and the livestock feed issues for Hawaii and how do we promote a vibrant agricultural community. This is a collegial opportunity, a chance to share what is going on in the community of practice. The key expectation is what we can do together, not necessarily what UH programs or county government will do or can do, because it's going to make, for us to make change, we're going to have to work together. The state doesn't have a lot of money, the county doesn't have a lot of money. It's going to be more of a holistic approach. We hope that we can build greater stewardship of agriculture and our soils beyond gardening today. I mean, many of us are trying more natural practices at the garden scale, but can we escalate more environmentally friendly practices to production agricultural scale? And we want to embrace today all types of agriculture. Too often in our community, we hear people say organic does this, chemical or conventional does that, yet within agriculture, you can have organic on one end and you can have extreme conventional ag on another, but there's a whole bunch of different agriculture going on that's in the middle. And I mean, some people are almost organic and some people are way on the other extreme. So we want to embrace everybody's input today. And I think one of the most valuable things I learned in graduate school, sure, you learn all this chemistry and biochemistry and microbiology, was a professor of animal science, Dr. John Moore at University of Florida, who said to me, you know, lawyers and politicians want yes-no answers, but in agriculture, most of the answers are, it depends on the circumstances, it depends on the environment, it depends on the crop. So you can't give direct answers all the time. It's more that it depends, and then they don't want to deal with you in the courtroom where you say, well, when you're growing corn and this happens, when you're growing soybeans, this happens, you grow them together, this happens. It's too much for them. But for us, we need to know those things and develop our knowledge base as much as possible. And at the end of the meeting, we're really hoping that we can set next steps and priorities for the future. And this is co-hosted by the county and Margaret and I. And Margaret will give a little bit of perspective about how she and I came together to put this on. So Margaret, welcome.
Wille, and thank you all for being here. I just want to say that the intent here is really sharing knowledge, listening, how can we learn from each other. Bruce and I both attended an ag forum in Honolulu. I think the cost of that was $600 or $700, mostly attorneys and a few representatives of various ag industry. But and I felt we heard the presenters and we were all sitting out there and all these people with incredible knowledge, and I kept wanting to hear from everybody else. So at the end, I was sort of going around talking to some of the fellow attorneys, not that they agree with me, but how can we do things on this island and bring it down to the people who are on the ground level. And Bruce was there and I talked to him and he said, well, I think maybe we can put something together. And I said, okay, let's really do it. And do it before too long and invite everyone to come. So that was how we came about. So we've tried to design this where there are some presenters sort of stimulating conversation, but the point is to really have the attendees feel that they are equal part of this and provide for discussion. And it's sort of broken up several key subjects, and then we break out into work groups, so you choose which group you want to work on, and then report back to the larger group, and have discussion after their presentation, and then go to what can we all do together, and how do we proceed. One issue that I did put on this is the little red fire ant, sort of a common enemy, not too many people defending the little red fire ant. And that was something that back in 2007, 2008, I started working on. I was going around the county to their various, when they were starting to put together the county's ag plan. And every once in a while someone would say, but you know, all of this is going to be worthless if we don't deal with the little red fire ant. So I worked with Pete Hoffman, his legislative aide, and we put together a resolution. I did put some copies out, sort of bringing it down. What could the county do? Let's do some things that we can do where we're not, okay, it's a state issue, but it passed 9-0, but really nothing happened after that. And so in the legislature this year, there were various bills, mostly oriented, how do we keep the little red fire ant on the Big Island, not let it get to the other islands, how do we really address it on the other islands, and then sort of, there was a pilot project, a little bit of money that was going to go to the county, and even that didn't pass. So how can we, this is our island, what can we do together and make things happen? And I just want to mention a couple little things you might be interested in reading beyond this, and one is the Environmental Council's annual report 2013, presenting the Genuine Progress Indicator baseline, sort of tying the people, agriculture, and the environment all together, that we all are interdependent, interrelated, and that we don't just look at the economic benefit, that there's a whole, all of our common good, our air, water, soil, we need to take into account. Another one, a couple more, the sustainability primer put together by the County of Hawaii at Kohala and Kohala Center, and basically making clear that being a steward of the Aina was of paramount importance to the indigenous people here, and we need to do that. We need to care and respect for the Aina, Malama the Aina, and it Malama's us. And just in terms of the university, what does it stand for? One of the things is stewardship of the natural and cultural environment. And then lastly, and that's in their strategic plan 2011-2015, you might be interested in reading. And then also the White County Food Self-Sufficiency Baseline. And for example, talking on this subject is about how organic or more natural farming is a growing part of Hawaiian agriculture, seeking to enhance soil fertility without the importation of expensive chemical fertilizers, and to fend off plant diseases by managing a more holistic approach. So I think part of this is how do we bring our knowledge and put it where we say we don't like this, well what's the alternative? And how do we make those alternatives economically feasible? And how do we do that as a collective group? So that's the overall direction that I am going in, and a lot of this reflects sort of the governor's 2050 sustainability plan, that you look at the economics, short and long term, you also look at how to steward and nurture the environment, and also the culture, the local community base, and that those three circles interlock, and how do we promote all of those together. And so thank you again for being here. And I'll move on to those with more specific knowledge, again, to stimulate conversation among you all. And I would like to introduce next on our agenda.
Oh, wait. Oh, we're going to do attendee brief.
Oh, yes, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, we thought it would be great just to get to
yeah.
know everybody's background briefly. We have about 15 minutes to do it, so if everybody could give maybe 15 to 30 seconds about their background before we get started. So, Margaret, I guess we could just go ahead and start with Hector.
Yeah, so let's start with Hector. Who are you, Hector? Stand up.
Hector Valenzuela, UH Manoa, Oahu.
And you're in the extension service and you're...
Extension at UH Manoa, working with vegetable crops and sustainable ag systems.
Carrie?
Aloha, I'm Carrie Marks. I'm live streaming this for Occupy Hilo, and I'm also a candidate for County Council District 2.
Hi, my name is Kim Chang. I'm a natural farming instructor and practitioner since 2008, I guess.
I'm Joy Cash, and I'm a seventh-generation farmer, and I'm representing my ancestry here today. Thank you.
Donald Wessels, I'm with Occupy Hilo. View us on Occupy Hawaii YouTube channel.
Mike Pond, I'm with the Cooperative Extension Service, University of Hawaii. I'm in livestock and natural farming practices.
Glenn Sock with the County of Hawaii Research and Development Department, Agriculture Specialist.
I'm Daniel Warner. I live in Kukui Haile, and I'm trying to grow my own vegetables and fruit.
Elizabeth Weatherford. I live I have a farm near the Pahoa, in the Pahoa district, right outside of Pahoa, and some cattle there.
I'm James Weatherford. I work for her.
David Fuertes, Kohala.
Yes, cattle too.
Give us an example of one of your many projects.
Former ag teacher, 35 years, and we have a Palilio Kohala Natural Farming Learning Lab.
Okay, thanks.
Korean style.
I'm Jesse Ivan, a new assistant professor here at UH Hilo, Applied Entomology and Biodiversity Conservation.
I'm Susan English, and I'm trying to learn more about sustainability.
I'm Merle Hayward. I've been in organics since the 60s, teaching people to convert from conventional farming to organics, and I'm a safe food advocate and a natural farming practitioner.
I'm Bobby Grimes, and I have a small farm in Pauilo, and I brew compost tea, and I build classrooms, outdoor classrooms at the schools out of bamboo, and teach some agriculture. I'm interested in getting all the properties on the Kohala coast that are on the ocean off of the pesticides and onto the natural systems.
My name is Steve Kirsch. I live in Gal. I'm currently developing a vermicompost product to be able to support local farmers in the ag industry and try and move away from inorganic fertilizers and bringing in chemical fertilizers from there.
I'm Katie Schwen. I actually am connected with a lot of really great agriculture projects, mainly up in North Hawaii. Hamakua Harvest is one of them. I think Michael Gibson is here. And then the other one is working with the Waimea Hawaiian Homestead Association and their food hub and anaerobic digestion integration project.
My name is Barbara Spark, and I live just outside of Mupaa. And I have a small business, and I make and sell frozen popsicles from local fruit. So my connection is to the fruit that I know.
I'm Howard Kame. I just started growing food. I just wanted to learn a little more.
Chris Hardenbrook, recently retired geographer for county planning, and I've looked into what I want to do in retirement and go back to the land if you've never made it back to the land. So, looking for natural farming inputs.
My name is Chris Chang. I'm from Molokai, and I'm trying to build a kind of sustainable community for the people rather than for the corporation.
I'm Dr. James Carpenter. My specialty is animal nutrition and feed forage and byproduct evaluation. I recently retired about 3 years ago from the University of Hawaii, where I had 35 years of research and instruction both here at UH Hilo and at UH Manoa. And I'm currently affiliate faculty here at CAFNARM, working with Dr. Mathews and still kind of keeping my head and my body involved in research.
I'm Paul Kuykendall. We have a small farm on Hawiki Road about a mile and a half from the ramp, and we're trying to integrate some livestock, and we have some native forest, and having a food orchard, and we're trying to figure out how to do that sustainably.
I'm Suzanne Wakeman, and ex-laser engineer turned novice farmer, and with the farming board.
I'm Jill Wakeman. I've just arrived in Hawaii.
from England.
Well, I'm Deandra Baber, natural resource consultant, civil engineer, primarily starting my husband, Cap Baber, and is farming and ag efforts now.
My name is Cap Baber. I'm 35 years of organic farming in Hawaii. Was engineer before that. I'm a consultant for many different farms in the Big Island and branching out a little bit to Oahu. One of my favorite pet accounts that I do service regularly is Maryland's restaurant. So when anyone wants to visit the restaurant and see the garden on the side there. I'm an EM tech, effective microorganisms tech. I can represent how to apply effective microorganisms to make our lands healthy, wealthy.
Aloha, I'm Dr. Jana Bogues, and I'm with Beyond Organic Consulting. So I help farmers grow more nutritious food. So that's my main focus with extensive soil analysis and also plant tissue analysis.
Good morning, my name is Anna Beach. I farm a very small farm in Hawaii called Squash and Awe. I grow organic heirloom squash and I also do seed production. I started a small program where I partner with chefs and I reclaim their kitchen scrap, their vegetable scrap, and their fish scrap and compost them.
Aloha, I'm Derek Kiyoko with the Omaha Center, beginning farmer training program and a high school agriculture internship program.
I am Annette. I'm a small ag lot, just trying to get information on how to do
I'm Charlene both here, retired from the county. We went some of the laws, but I'm just interested in how the community can support farms.
Jerry Chang, Director of University Relations here at UH.
I'm Laura Luther, and I work on an organic farm outside of KL.
My name is Pavel Havlicek. I'm a student here at UH studying agroculture and also I run a small aquaponics operation. I'm Lucas Candick. I'm a student in tropical plant science and agroecology here at UH.
I'm Dennis Gonzalez. I retired. I used to direct the USDA Research Center and I helped to develop genetically engineered grain.
I'm Mike Shintaku. I'm a plant pathologist here at UH College Bay.
My name is Norman Aramcon. I teach sustainable agriculture, among others, horticulture, budget ag here at UH.
My name is Chris Jacobson. I teach agriculture at the community college.
Hi, I'm Virginia Alderson. I'm not a farmer. We have land in Hamakua that we rent to farmers, and we're trying to transition from a lot of ginger, sweet potato farmers using a lot of chemicals and trying to learn better ways to use our land.
Enough said.
Good morning. My name is Randall McGentry. I'm a lecturer at Hawaii Community College, and in my college reading skills class for the last 7.5 years, I have incorporated a sustainability project that has my students look into the various aspects of living if the containers stop coming. So that is kind of the point of departure. We look at food, energy, transportation, and how we might get along with each other.
Aloha, I'm Kelly Tohon. I practice monomaino. I'm here for a bunch of different reasons, but basically I'm excited because I'm ready for haku everybody together so we can figure out how to move forward and get out of this hole.
Hi, my name is Wille Anderson. We have a family company for 35 years up in Kyrgyzstan, Polynesian orchids and Interim. I'm a hybridist, chemical sprayer certified with the state in organic. Known Jerry through state legislature. I designed and developed the Shipment Park soccer field, helped with the KL High School and the intermediate school. A lot of Jerry's help at the time. I did major exporting on Senator Inoue's federal floriculture grant system out of Washington. I was chairperson for that for about 10 years. And since the economic downturn, and also we supplied all the mass market here in Honolulu for starter material, for veg crop nursery material. hybridizing, seeding.
Aloha, I'm William Mokahi Steiner. I'm the former dean for the College of Agriculture, Forestry, and Natural Resource Management here at Hilo. I now operate a small company called Pacific Agricultural Lands Management Systems, and I also am the CEO and manager for the new cooperative, the Pacific Oil Growers Association, and our objective is to develop sustainable biofuel production here in the islands.
I'm Corey Harden. I'm with the local Sierra Club. I have a backyard garden with 3 lettuces so far that are trying to survive my gardening techniques.
Hello, I'm Linda Peters. I work for the County Department of Environmental Management as the recycling coordinator. And one of my missions is to keep all of our green waste that we generate on our island out of our landfills and into some productive use. And if anybody wants to talk to me afterward, at West Hawaii we have a problem where we have a lot more mulch than we have customers for. So I'm here to just meet and let people know about that and see if there's some way we can get that material to the farmers because it can help in developing our soil. Can you speak a little louder?
I'm Nancy Kuya, and I was a former biology teacher at HPU, and I now work at Councilwoman and Elementary School. And I saw a real need for our students to connect with agriculture because our school is mostly just college, ready. And the others that I come from a family of farmers, and I saw that a lot of them are suffering. I know orchard farmers. My uncle was a Indian farmer in Country Maui. My grandparents used to have a small farm in Kauai. And I really want ag lands to be preserved and our children to find value so that they go back and work in those lands even at college.
I'm Farah Abarca, and I'm a librarian at the local library just over there. And I'm the agriculture liaison, so I select the books for agriculture. And I found that more and more students, like Randall's students, are coming in wanting to know about sustainability. So I'm here to learn.
My name is Fernando Salas. I'm from South America. I grew up on the dirt farming. I came to this country in 1977. Prior to that, I witnessed biotech corporate people in South America. I witnessed how they killed people with pesticides. One of the first awareness issue was kidney failures. Presently today, Hawaii is also have the same issue. The state of Hawaii is one of the first states with kidney failure. South America, a lot of people, due to pesticides and corporate people, poor countries like South America, you just die, you just get buried. Done deal. There is no medical opportunity, there is no funds, Anyway, I'm an organic farmer. I've been on the island farming organically for 35 years.
Aloha, my name is Lynn Howe. I'm the program director for the Hawaii Public Seed Initiative, the Kohala Center, and my husband and I farm a small eco farm in Pahoa area in Beach Road.
Hi, I'm Hillary Flamey, and I live on an eco farm in New York and also eat most of the food that we grow. And just really enjoying the relationships that are with the plants that we grow locally. And also own like a small herbal business and also making desserts and savory foods for the local store.
Hello, my name is
Jacobson. I'm working with several others to develop a small-scale farm hub adjacent to home co-op. And we're interested in cutting-edge approaches to that intention in every respect. So I'm delighted to be here. Thank you, Margaret, and whoever else is involved in putting this together.
My name is Hector. I'm currently a tour guide with Interim Discovery Tours. I'm very interested in food forestry systems, ecology, and basically here to learn from you guys. I want to spread the right messages to the public.
Hello, I'm Justin Avery. I'm a Wille alum, and I own the house right next door to the university. And for the past 2 years, every other Saturday, first and third Saturday, we've had these 2 permaculture experts come and work with all the students who live at the house. And right now we're fast-tracked to have 25% of the diet in the house come from the yard by January 2015.
I'm Mary Marvin Porter. I live on an acre in Paradise Park, part Ohio woodland, part fruit and flower trees. I'm with the Sierra Club. I also have a video business, Island Eyes Video, and I've been recording environmental and agricultural events, and I have quite a library in my home.
My name is Jordan Tesser. Trying to grow cacao and other fruits out near Cocoa.
Hi, my name is Hector. I'm just a backyard gardener, and I just came here today to learn know-how from people like you, and I'm thankful to this opportunity given to me to attend today. See, my husband here, and I bring him along with me today to take time off from his job.
I'm Garrett Wood. I'm here to learn how to battle little fire ants.
Okay, and back here?
My name is Dave Sandstone, and I do agroforestry research.
And
hello, my name is Jesse Potter. I'm a UCLA alumni in agriculture and communications. I graduated in 2011, and currently I run a nonprofit with my wife called Pohaha Ikalani. We do cultural education in Wille Valley. We bring students from K-12 to universities down there to learn about terra farming in Wille Valley. And I work part-time at a Big Island Tea, which is a community synthesis farm in Glenwood. Interested in sustainable organic farming, permaculture, Korean natural farming. That's all I've got to use.
And here feedback. Did we miss anyone? Okay. So Hector. You're up. Hector Valenzuela, a well of knowledge and extension agent. And I'll let you proceed, Hector.
Thank you, Dean Mathews and Margaret, for organizing this workshop, and it's a pleasure to be here and an honor to be here. Thank you, everybody. I would like to talk briefly about the future of agriculture on the Big Island and about agroecology. My main message is that, can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
No, a little louder with the mic closer.
My main message.
I think there's a light. No, I think there's a mic. That's just our mic. That's not going to do you any good. That's going to do us good.
Sounds great.
But you want a mic for the room. Is there a mic for the room?
The tech guy said it wasn't working.
Okay.
So we have to speak.
I can speak a little. Try to speak a little louder. My main message today is that first we need a vision, and secondly that we need a plan to move forward with that vision. I believe the university can be an integral part to help as a catalyst to move this vision forward, because they can help to articulate this vision to policymakers and so on. The question mark at this point is whether the university will align with the vision as defined by the power structure in the state, or whether it would align with the vision raised by the community. We can remember that in the 1990s, 1960s, Senator Fulbright, a former professor and university president, raised the concern of the close alliance of academia with the power structure in the United States. I would like to mention very briefly to differentiate between two types of research. One is maintenance research, and this is kind of the run-of-the-mill research that farmers depend on a day-to-day basis, new tomato varieties, how to work the soil, and so on. And the second one is more of a basic developmental type of research, how to understand new methods, how to develop new methods of production. And I want to raise the fact that it's important for us, for the university system, to continue to promote maintenance research. The problem is that for new professors or faculty, this often doesn't bring a lot of recognition because you don't get published in the top journals. But this is important. And my message is that the community can share this information with the industries, can share this information with the university. This is important for us, for the university to be able to recognize faculty. If you do maintenance research, you do varieties, basic economic analysis, you will be recognized. And this is today what is called as community engagement with the community. So it is very important. There's all kinds of technologies all over the world, a lot of new information, but this has to be tested locally for adoption by the local growers. If you as a local farmer try to do it on your own, it's just like an uphill battle if you don't have this type of assistance. There's been a series of scientific panels over the past 20, 30 years in the United States, kind of a retrospective or introspection about the United States system. This one was called A Time to Change, a summary report on the structure of agriculture. It was critical about the increased concentration of the industrial agriculture on fewer and fewer hands, and it was saying we should do something to move this, to change this system. A few more studies came over the past 20 years. One on the left, publicly funded agricultural research and the changing structure of agriculture. So this report was saying the universities are actually reinforcing this structure towards the concentration of the industrial agriculture, further promoting the industrialization of agriculture. The one on the bottom of your left, A Time to Act, about small farms, with a series of recommendations how to promote more small-scale farming and alternative agricultural systems. The one on your right, the concerns about pesticides and how to develop alternative management practices to reduce the impact on the environment and on human health. Further reports like the one in almost in 1990 on alternative agriculture, and these reports are saying we have failed to heed the recommendations made in the earlier panels made 10, 20 years ago. And the direction of agriculture continues apace with those same concerns that we had early on about the structure of agriculture in terms of industrialization, concentration of the agriculture on both ends of the spectrum, from the producers to the retailers and displayers. So new production paradigms have arisen as a result of these concerns about the direction of agriculture. Again, there was a follow-up panel called Towards Sustainable Agriculture, and according to this report, agroecology was the foundation that they used to codify the federal organic standards. So agroecology, or the science of ecological farming, was used to codify this is how we're going to develop organic standards at the federal level. So it's called sustainable agriculture or agroecology. And I call it the science of organics, nature farming, integrated pest management, permaculture, biodynamics, and so on. Why alternative agriculture? Why are we thinking about alternative methods? First, as an example, a presidential report on the environment from 2011. Overuse and excess applications of chemicals to soils have disrupted natural processes. Habitat loss, air pollution, and chemical pesticides have reduced populations of natural pollinators and natural control agents for agricultural pests. More than 1/3 of our agricultural soils have been lost to erosion and unsustainable practices. Loss of pollinating insects with large cost to agriculture. From the medical front, similar type of assessments from the Medical Association, which came up with a resolution on the sustainable food systems. And they are saying we need to adopt a healthy diet based on pesticide-free whole foods such as fruit and vegetable crops. So again, a recommendation to change the way our food system is working, and both from the agricultural and also from the consumption side. More recently, international panels and the Food and Agricultural Organization have indicated that in the near and in the future we can expect continued high food prices and price volatility, that this trend will continue. And these analyses indicate that agroecological approaches should be followed by small farmers and are needed to increase productivity and to adapt to the upcoming impacts of climate change. So this is a growing consensus that we need to develop more ecologically based production systems on a worldwide basis. So agroecology can be defined as the application of ecological concepts and principles to the design, study, and management of sustainable systems. Basic principles which are based on ecological principles, which is something that you see in nature, for agroecology include diversity, and diversity promotes stability, nutrient and energy cycles, and try to achieve as close as possible what are called closed systems. So there's less leaching of nutrients or other products outside of the system. Intricate food webs to develop complex systems of biological control, internal biological control mechanisms, so that you have to rely less on external inputs for pest control. So as part of the paradigm change, we're moving away from a linear model. A linear model takes resources from one side and assuming that these are infinite resources that are always available, such as energy and chemicals. And on the other side are the outputs. And the assumption from the outputs side is that there will be little impact on the soil or the environment or on health from the outputs of these materials. And this contrasts with the agroecological paradigm, which is more of a circular cycle, again surrounding and around recycling of nutrients and other resources. And this would be an example of an orchard or garden from Cuba, following more of a circular pattern or cycle. And it's interesting to see that they do include animals as the part of agriculture, animal crop production system. Features of the agroecological approach include try to obtain multifunctional capabilities out of the resources that you're using. So if you're using compost for nutrient sources, they may also improve disease management in the field, also the drainage of water and conservation of moisture, resiliency on the farm to make your farm stronger and less susceptible to impacts, to increase the social capital in the community. And from agriculture, we know that farmers are the biggest source of innovation in terms of germplasm, new varieties, new seed, new breeding improvements, but also agricultural knowledge. And these ideas are normally taken up by university researchers, adopt these ideas and actually modify them or fine-tune them to adopt them more widely across the industry. And also a more landscape or regional approach. In Hawaii we would call it more of a hupua or watershed approach as compared to our old style of just focusing on what happens on an individual plot or individual farm. Resilient systems is becoming a buzzword now, especially with climate change. This basically means that the system can better resist the impacts of climate change. And by the way, we have seen this over the past 10 to 15 years around the world, that the systems can also recover faster from disturbance. If you have a 10, 15,000 acre farm that becomes disrupted because of flooding or drought, it becomes a lot more difficult for it to bounce back than decentralized and diversified farming systems. Based on small farms, they just pick up their pieces and come up back in running, back in function real fast after that environmental disturbance. So the agroecological goals would be to improve nutrient cycles, to enhance natural pest control, biocontrol mechanisms, to learn from millennial or indigenous knowledge. So you're not starting from zero, but you learn from how the culture developed agricultural systems over hundreds of years or multi-generations in that area and build that knowledge from that point on. And also to empower local communities. The local communities become a source of knowledge and innovation rather than being simply recipients of technology. You have to do A, you have to do B. The information goes the other way around, and the researchers simply conduct research to fine-tune that local-based information. As an example of the promotion of ecological methods is the increase of organic matter, and we can think of organic matter as a water catchment system for the collection or preservation, storage of water for long periods of time. Organic matter can absorb up to 90% of its weight in water. 1% organic matter can absorb up to 16,000 gallons per acre of food. So we have water conservation and at the same time carbon sequestration by incorporating more and more carbon inputs into the soil. From the energy standpoint, as we learn that energy is becoming more and more expensive and difficult to obtain, the energy efficiency of farms in Cuba is 1 to 15. That means you put 1 in and you get 15 to 30 back. In contrast, the energy ratio of industrial ag is from negative to 1.5. You put 1 and you only get 1.5 back. Fortunately, there has been almost an explosion in the scientific literature about ecological farming methods, and we have seen that compared to the early 60s, more and more publications are coming along, and if you open journals nowadays, a large fraction of those journals deal with agroecological or ecological production methods. So these are all positive directions. Agroecology, in a way, is an emerging science. It is just getting started. So while it's challenging for new faculty or new professors, it's actually like a totally new world. And this is pretty exciting. It is also raises potentials for the state, for emerging states, to become centers of knowledge of all this emerging technology. Some of these fields include systemic induced resistance, and this means that we are learning that in some cases you can trigger plants to develop immune defensive mechanisms in response to attack, to diseases, viruses, insects, and so on. It's an emerging science at the molecular level, ecological level. Another area is habitat management. Habitat management is how can you design your plantings at the farm level, but also at the larger landscape level. And you're trying to modify the interactions to make it more difficult for new diseases to come in and easier for crops to share resources among themselves in terms of nitrogen, nutrients, and water, space. And this is often called ecological engineering. Another area is agrobiodiversity, or the collection of germplasm for specific communities. Recently in Hawaii, we have been putting together, the Kohala Center has been putting together the public seed initiative, and this basically promotes the development of seed banks at the community level. You develop varieties with plasticity, just like the Hawaiians did with developing taro varieties that can adapt to the climate change periodically. As you have more droughts or more floods, you can select and pick varieties that are adapted specifically for that ahupua'a. This is called agrobiodiversity, again to promote biodiversity and stability. And I believe that this is another potential for Hawaii to become a global center of seed supplies that you can share with the rest of the world, Latin America, Africa, Asia, and so on. And we did reach that point back in the 50s and 60s. We had a very strong breeding program, and our tomatoes or corn varieties were shared with people all over the world. And I believe that we can return to those days to make Hawaii a center point for seed production around the world. The one on your left reads chemical ecology, and this involves the chemical interaction or communication between species on the farm. It could be within the plant itself, one part of the tomato plant with another branch of the tomato plant with hormonal interactions, or the plants with volatiles communicating with insects above ground or with microbial organisms below the ground. Again, it's a very new science. We're still trying to understand it. In the old days, we used to make fun of the organic guys that would come up with stories about defense mechanisms and so on. But now science is starting to prove that a lot of these mechanisms were actually enforced. For example, it may mean that thrips or mites come and feed on the tomato plant. The tomato plant sends a signal, a volatile signal, to beneficial organisms and say, hey, these guys are trying to feed on me. So the beneficial organism knows that they can come in and feed on the aphid or the mites or so on. Again, all kinds of communication going at the different levels. And our question is, how can we manipulate this environment by interplanting tomatoes with beans or with squash to try to maximize these positive interactions occurring on the farm. Again, it can occur at the microbial level and at the insect level. And of course, soil quality. We have studied the soil a lot, but mostly from its chemical perspective, and from the biological perspective, it's almost like a new science. In Hawaii, we have almost no knowledge about the microbial activity in the soil in terms of what is there, what's going on. And it's a very emerging science. And again, we're starting to corroborate the old claims made by the old-time organic farmers that the foundation of a healthy plant is having a healthy soil. Just a quick example of the complexity or the dynamics that can occur. Here we have a bed in Mozambique. At the top of the bed you have corn, which can maximize light absorption as a C4 plant. On the warm side of the bed, on the northern side, you have tomatoes, which need all that heat. On the cooler side of the bed, you have the beans, which don't need as much sunlight, but they can contribute nitrogen to the system. Again, the level of complexity. Each of these plants has a complex of about 30 to 40 insects. So you can imagine the level of complexity once you start to incorporate biodiversity into the system. And many countries around the world are starting to articulate how they will move forward to develop these agroecological or organic systems. This is something that I obtained from a pamphlet of the Royal Organic Project in Thailand. Cropping systems management, emphasis on soil quality, biocontrol, and soil, water, and product quality. And these were farmers that were actually taking products, head cabbage, exporting them to Europe, so very high quality standards. But it was like a 3-hour ride into the mountains of northern Thailand. A few examples of the organic systems. These are mobile hoop houses that they can move from side to side as they move crops to new fields. Composting sites on the left-hand side to improve soil quality. They actually had a little room with beneficials where they could train their farmers. This is how the lazy wing looks. This is how the little flies, the beetles look, so the workers could identify it and say, well, this is a pest, I gotta spray it and try to kill it. Different extracts, and Cuba has done a lot of work in terms of what extracts and beneficial organisms can they apply for biocontrol on their farms. This is a slide that I used when I applied for a job in Hawaii a long time ago, a few lives ago. This is a few programs that were around back in the day. But since that time, things have really multiplied. Today we have several countries that at a national level are developed agroecological models or programs, such as Thailand, Taiwan, Cuba, Venezuela, Bhutan, and also in the European Union. Several analyses have demonstrated that agroecological methods are among the most effective in terms of effecting change at the small scale level in tropical locations. The widest study ever conducted on agroecological approaches covered 286 projects in 57 developing countries, representing a total surface of about 40 million hectares or 80 million acres. The average crop yield gain was about 80%. Concrete examples of agroecological success projects abound in Africa. The College of Agriculture at UH is indeed moving more towards sustainable agriculture, and this is a positive development that we should all encourage. About 10 years ago, most of the positions were /biotech, and nowadays most of the positions that you see are /sustainable. So this is something that industries, the Hawaii Organic Farmers Association should come together and say, yeah, this is a great thing, and try to promote it. We have seen a similar trend nationwide, and the question mark is whether this trend towards sustainability is more of a, how do you call it, a window screen, just as an effort to make it like you're doing that, or is a real change from an institutional perspective. We have Dr. Pt.1. She has worked locally here with some of the nature farmers with nematology and cover crops. Mark Nickum here in Hilo with sustainable tropical crops. Ted Radovich with organics and sustainable agriculture. A couple of examples with compostees, with Professor Radovich and also with Professor Aaron Kohn here at UH Hilo, trying to promote microbial activity and amendments to improve crop growth. Professor Wang, again working with strip crops, how to modify the environment to decrease the level of nematodes and to promote beneficial nematode populations. More basic type of work to try to understand what's going on at the farm level, especially after the plantations close down, how to regenerate that soil. Some work with earthworm populations done by Professor Mathews and colleagues here at UH Hilo. And a lot of work in terms of organic amendments, how to increase some organic amendments and how to improve the quality of the soil. And Mike has done a lot of work trying to work with local suppliers of compost and how to create that channel from the farm, from the producer to the farm, to take it to the farm. I want to emphasize that a different paradigm is the long-term perspective of organics. When we do research, it's not a 6-month project or a 4-month project, but it should be a multi-generational type of project. I started a project back in 1993 so that we can come 30 and 40 years and look at the soil once we can actually start to identify the microbes and so on. It has gone through ups and downs, but I think that every island should have a long-term organic project. We see this in Europe, in some places in Africa, but it's almost like investing on our future generations. Let's do organic research projects that can be institutionalized and keep for future generations. So far, these systems here are not institutionalized. That means that tomorrow they could go. So 30 years of work could go down the drain and we would have to start all over again. So I would just like to leave it on that and thank you again everybody for being here.